This episode of the podcast is brought to you by our partner, Audible.
Yes, it is. So we are partnered with Audible. That means that if you are looking just to check it out, you don't want to put your card in and just take the dive. You can get 30 days for free on us. If you go to audibletrial.com/JATG or click the link down below, you'll be taken there. You can sign up for 30 days for free and just test it out. Like there's a lot of stuff on there that you can get for free, a lot of Audible exclusives. But what I really like about Audible is that out of the hundreds and thousands of audiobooks that they have, if you decide to purchase something, that is yours forever. Like if you decide not to carry on your subscription or you want to take a break or whatever it is, you can always go back and listen to that book whenever you want through the app on the internet. Doesn't matter because it's yours. So once again, you can get that for 30 days for free on us if you go to audibletrial.com/JATG.
All right. I think
We'll see
we're
how
live.
this goes. I think we are. We'll see how my connection goes. I'm actually streaming the game on one screen, podcasting with you on another screen, and then I'm going to be monitoring our chat and stuff.
That sounds, how do I put this? That sounds like a bad idea.
Probably. Well,
Yeah.
it's easy to, well, you know what? It's halftime right now, so I don't need to actively.
Yeah. I'm trying to actually do this now. I got two monitors, so I'm trying to actually, how do you look at, we got two viewers now. See, this is why I shouldn't get this, is because I get completely distracted by things like this. How do you get to the message part of this?
So what I do is I expand it.
Okay.
And then the other thing you're going to have to do is, if you're going to be watching like the chat, then you're going to have to mute the chat, right? Because there is a slight delay. So,
right,
you're going to have to do that.
You know what? I'll figure this out later. I want to focus on my guests. All right, guys. Hi, welcome to the podcast. Pre-Thanksgiving podcast. How do we feel? Do we feel stuffed out there, America?
Post-Thanksgiving.
What did I say?
You said pre-Thanksgiving.
Sorry, post-Thanksgiving. You are correct, sir. Post-Thanksgiving. How do we feel out there? Stuffed? Did we not feel stuffed? Did we have a good time? Did we not have a good time? I'm not actually talking to Greg. I'm talking to everybody out there. But now I turn it to my co-host. How was it? Did you have a good time?
It's fine.
Fine? Okay, you have family?
Yeah, I was a man.
Okay. Did you happen to bite your tongue?
A couple times.
Okay. I did too. I had to bite my tongue once.
Yep. A couple times had to do that. It was, this is where I get the ultimate annoyance of Thanksgiving was like, we go over on Thursday, have Thanksgiving. We're there for like an hour or two. And then my father-in-law is like, hey, and there was one sibling, like one of my wife's siblings couldn't make it. Like they had to go to the other side of the family. And so we were missing one sibling out of the four of them. And so like his whole family was gone. And they're like, hey, what are you doing tomorrow around dinner time? I'm like, well, it's one Black Friday. We got stuff going on. I mean, there's things. I mean, we have plans. He's like, well, we haven't taken a family picture in about 3 years. So, the missing sibling is going to be coming in. Everybody else is going to be coming in. We want to do another family picture. I'm like, why didn't we just, why didn't we just postpone Thanksgiving
until Friday?
And I wouldn't have to be here 2 days in a row. And everybody, like many people thought that, even the ones that drove down from, it's a 2.5 hour drive
for some of them,
for one sibling and her family to come down. And she's a coach. She coaches like high level club volleyball.
Right.
And so for some reason the league that they're in, you have to sign up for all of your tournaments the Friday after Thanksgiving, and signups start at like 6 a.m.
Of course.
And it's a race to get your team into the right tournaments because these tournaments fill up. And so she drove back 2.5 hours
just to do that.
So like that night, Thursday night, she drove back so that on Friday morning she could be with her coaches, her assistant coaches, sign up the teams into all the right tournaments. And then she had to drive back where her husband and kids were for this family picture. And then they drove home Friday night.
Wow. That's a busy day or that's a busy 48 hours for
and literally person. I'm going, we could have just done this Friday. Like we didn't have to, like she could have just gotten up.
Yeah.
And in her house Friday morning, like just stayed there.
Yep.
Like, why the hell did we do this? It made no sense to me.
Yeah. Well, what can you do, right?
So yeah, there's my little rant.
Mine was good. It was the first time I actually didn't try to sneak away every 5 minutes to look at the score or watch the game. I watched the Buffalo Detroit game, which was awesome. Yeah, great that's a good game. And then after that, I didn't pretty much care to even look.
Oh, maybe that's what saved me. I'm going to turn on one more set of lights here. I think what saved me is I went there.
Yeah.
And immediately went, oh, we're not watching football. And then we turned football on, and then I just sat on the couch and I watched the Buffalo Detroit game. And some people were like, who cares about football? And I went, I do.
Yeah.
And do I live and breathe it? No, everybody knows that I don't, but they know that this is what gets me through.
I wonder how many people, quick question to all of our viewers out there, how many people do you feel that saves somebody during that holiday? Like
something on the TV.
They can go there and just sit there. So they're technically there.
Yeah.
But
I was having conversations. It wasn't that bad, but
okay. Yeah. No, I had a great time with my family. Yeah, I had a great time. There was one moment that got uncomfortable, and it was almost a need. There wasn't a need for this conversation to come up, but somebody had to, I guess, tell everybody their politics about it. So, I just, whatever. It's just something you got to hold your breath and just breathe through it and enjoy the apple pie a little bit more. But that mine was great. I had a good time. We came back here and we did ours on Ursula's side Friday night. So we hosted it Friday night, and that went off very well. So I had a really good two Thanksgiving days, which is like, me, that's perfect, Bill.
Mm-hmm.
So, I was very happy with it. The other thing I really like about kind of this weekend was there was like a lot of shows that dropped. We started watching Wednesday on Netflix.
That's good show. We started watching
it. It is good.
My oldest was all over that as soon as it came out. She's like, "We gotta watch this," and I was like, "All right, fine." Yeah. I love it. I don't know how many episodes in, 4 or 5.
Okay, we're 2.
It's a great mystery. It's entertaining. I mean, it's not too far in any one direction towards the lightness versus like the gothy dark.
Right.
And it's not campy. I mean, they're playing it.
Is there any, do you know, and maybe you can look this up right now, do you know if Tim Burton directs all of it, or did he just direct the first one? And the reason I ask is because I feel Tim Burton never ends a show or a movie well. You always kind of walk away going, that was awesome, but the ending could have been better.
Yeah.
That's how I have always felt about a Tim Burton show. And so I'm just curious about that.
It's a good question.
I mean, hopefully maybe he proves me wrong.
I mean, you can feel his influence on it for sure.
Oh, absolutely. And I love his influence. That's a part I really like. I really enjoy. He pulls you into a really cool atmosphere. Like I've always wanted to walk on his sets. because it just looks so cool.
I don't feel okay. He doesn't direct all of them.
Okay.
He directs 1, 2, 3. He directs the first 4.
Okay.
And we just finished episode 5.
Out of an
There's
8-episode show, right?
out of an 8-episode show.
Okay.
Yep. So we're just past the middle. I think what helps is that Tim Burton hasn't written any of these.
Oh, okay. That does help.
So it
Oh,
almost
that's Alfred Gore.
no, it's Miller and Goff, Alfred Goff, Miles
Okay.
Miller, which they do a ton of stuff. Like
Yes, they
Miller,
do.
like Miller and Goff are big names.
Yes.
Like into the Spider-Verse dudes.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And then Kayla Alpert wrote a couple. April Blair wrote a couple. And then it's like Miller Goff and someone named Matt Lambert, who I've heard that name. I don't know why. And then Miller and Goff. So
Okay.
So I think with the different writers, like the Tim Burton influence, and he's executive producer on all of it. It's not like you're watching Edward Scissorhands
Right.
or Beetlejuice, or it's not where it's like if you sat down and in episode 4, if you didn't see Tim Burton's name, I don't think you get that it's a Tim Burton project. Like you'd be like, oh, someone here is probably a fan of his work, but it's like it's not so overt. It's not so. I mean, he's tempered, I guess. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I really like the girl that's the actress for Wednesday. I think she does a very good job. Yeah. I kind of felt I was a little disappointed with Gomez, but that's okay.
Here's the thing about my take on Gomez. If you go back and look at the original artwork for the Addams Family.
Was this an artwork before it was a TV show?
Yeah. They had, I don't know if it was, maybe in the original character designs or something like that. I mean, Gomez is a short, round Mexican. Like
he is?
Or Latinx. Absolutely is. Yep.
I actually thought the Addams Family was based off of the 70s TV show. I didn't know there was anything before. I'm sorry, 60s. Addams Family came on the 60s, right? Right?
Let me look it up.
Everyone.
Addams Family. Okay. Here we go. They premiered in the New Yorker for over a 50-year period. Single panel cartoons of the New Yorker that premiered in 1938.
Okay.
The 1964 television series.
Yes.
Was where it kind of entered our social consciousness.
Okay.
But here, let me. Yeah, this is.
Well, it says right here: is Gomez Addams Mexican or Italian?
I believe he's Mexican. Here because Gomez is a Italian name. Did you see that? You see this is what
I do.
Gomez,
I do see that. Yep, I do see that.
That's the original artwork for.
That's the original artwork back in the when did you say this first was?
1930.
Okay, so it's in the 30s. That was the original. Okay.
Yeah, 1938. So I mean, he was a shorter, kind of pudgier, Mexican dude.
Art in the Addams Family on December 18th, 1964. So he's depicted as being a Castilian extraction and Spanish ancestry, which I don't understand what Castilian extraction means.
I don't know what extraction means. Castilian is, I mean, do you remember our friend Rita from college? Her last name was
Yes.
So not Mexican, then Spanish.
Okay, did I say that wrong? Is that
no?
Okay.
No, and he's of Spanish descent, where I was thinking he was Mexican descent, but he's Spanish.
Okay, yeah,
from España, which we call Spain.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Well, anyway, I'm a fan of it. I really liked. We're really liking it so far.
It's good.
The other one we tried to watch, and I was going to ask you if you actually watched this one or not. We tried to watch Slumberland. And what I mean by tried was we didn't know. It got a little too scary for Gwen.
Slumberland.
Yeah, it's a new Netflix show.
No, I haven't tried that one yet.
Okay, it's actually good. Like
it's a show?
No. It's a movie.
Movie.
I
Yeah.
want to actually finish it, but I don't think we can have Gwen watch it because she was scared
Yeah.
of the smoke. There's like this smoke monster that's kind of
Okay.
scary. So she actually said, "Daddy, this is too scary. Can you shut it off?" And I was like, "Oh
Yeah.
yeah, of course."
Yep.
Like I didn't know. Sure, of course. So we shut it off, and I think we ended up watching something else. But anyway, yeah. I don't know how you feel about the next one, okay? But I was disappointed by it, and that is the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special.
Haven't watched it yet.
You haven't watched it? I thought you
No.
would definitely watch it for this
I've
podcast.
I've been trying to.
Have you? Okay.
It's definitely high on my list, but
Okay.
I can't, like, my family just hasn't
Gotten there.
gotten there. Well, like I said, we had an extra family gathering on
Yeah.
Friday night.
Oh, you actually
And
did that.
oh God, yeah, we couldn't get out of it.
Oh,
No,
okay.
no, we had to go because it was the family picture for the first time. And by the way, just my little passive aggressiveness. They're like, yeah, here's the picture that we took 3 years ago. It was pre-COVID. And I was like, okay. And I looked at what I was wearing. I'm like,
I'm gonna wear the exact same thing.
the exact same thing.
Why is that passive aggressive?
I don't know.
Oh.
Because I mean, from one year to the next, they'd be like, was Greg wearing the same thing? Eventually someone will get it. But yeah, I just went there and, like, I don't know. The when you think of, like, the stereotypical family pictures, and, like, there's always the one relative that has to take, 80 of them, and we got to do it as often as we can. That's my wife's parents.
Okay.
Well, it's her dad. Like,
there are days that I should say days. There are times I wish we would take more photos and hang them in the house. And then there are times I'm glad we don't.
well, and I wish we would have done, because my kids are older now.
Yeah.
Like, there are people that do family pictures
Every year.
Every
Yeah.
year.
This is around the time, right? They either
they
put on the Christmas card and send it out.
Maybe. I mean, they hire the photographer, they do the sitting, they order the pictures, which pictures are not cheap to order. Like, if you're getting them, like, I mean, it can get pricey.
Yeah.
So we didn't do them for a long time, and then we got some done a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And you know what? It was good. Like, everybody was good. By the time we got our pictures back, like, one kid was in contacts instead of glasses, another kid had got braces off, and it was like this whole thing. So we got this big picture that none of my kids want hung up anywhere because they don't look like that anymore. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, well, I don't know when we're gonna do them again, so let's, we'll just figure it out. And my oldest daughter just had senior pictures done not too long ago, and so it's like, okay, well, there's you. So
yeah. Yeah. So
anyway,
I don't know what I expected for the holiday special, because I kept it in mind that it's the holiday special. It's not really going to connect to the
it's
ever
45 minutes, so I'm not expecting a ton. You can't do a ton of development in 45 minutes.
I thought it would be different. Like, I walked away thinking, oh,
there have been, I mean, especially since these last few, and maybe I'm just paying more attention to it since what we talked about last week, the Bob Chapek getting, I think he was fired. I mean, I haven't really heard how this transition went, other than, hey, everybody, Bob Iger's back.
Yeah.
And we're like, hey, Bob Iger's back. And I'm like, so did Chapek get fired? Like, did the board vote him out? Or is this like did he step down? I haven't heard a thing. But like Disney hasn't had a real victory in
since
a couple
Endgame?
I don't know. Like, I'd have to go
back. Do you
back.
even associate that with Disney?
Sure, I do.
Okay.
Like, it's an MCU film, so I certainly don't look at it in the same way I look at some other Disney projects, but it is, I mean, financially, from the business end of thing, yeah, it's Disney. And, like, I'm hearing it more today, I guess, when I look at headlines, because Strange Worlds, which premiered this weekend, is they're saying this needs to make 300 million to break even with all the budget for the film plus
Did you
the
see it?
advertising and everything. I did not, and neither did a lot of other people. Like
I didn't even know it came out this weekend. I've seen trailers, but I didn't
exactly.
know.
You didn't know it even came out this weekend. So
Mm-mm.
they're like, this is a bomb. Whether it's a good movie or not, I don't know, but financially it's not doing well. It's got one of Disney's first like flat out openly gay characters, which, I'm okay with. That doesn't bother me at all. But in some other countries, they won't run the film at all. Like they won't, they're like, no, this will not be played in our theaters. So that's an entire country that's not going to get a box office. So with that, Disney's looking at a failure of a film, or at least one that can't even break even, which in Hollywood terms is just a flop.
Well, okay. All right. So you're talking about from a financial standpoint, big hit Disney.
Yep. In Iger's, I'm sorry, in Chapek's last 4 years he's been CEO of Disney, he hasn't produced like a big blockbuster.
I don't think you can say that with
why can't I say that? I just said
because Endgame.
See, that's not under his purview. That was
4 years ago, right? 22, 21, 20, 19.
Let's look it up.
That's 4 years. Unless your 4-year counts off.
Well, I think it may have come out when he was CEO, but he wasn't the orchestrator behind that.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Sure. Whatever makes you right, Greg.
Can we tell my wife that? Movies that were made under Chapek. See if this actually comes through. And if you're commenting, I'm sorry, I'm not looking at it right now.
Meanwhile, people, the Wisconsin Badgers hired Luke Fickell. This is kind of a cool hire for me. This guy's a really good coach. It says here, I pulled up an article on CBS. It says Wisconsin hires Luke Fickell. Badgers make splash, luring Cincinnati coach with deep Big Ten ties. So that's a big deal because he knows where the recruiting grounds are. Fickell went 57-18 with 2 AAC titles and a college football playoff appearance with the University of Cincinnati football. Go Bearcats. My point is, I don't think a lot of people knew about the Cincinnati Bearcats, and that's how good this coach was. So yeah, I'm excited for Wisconsin Badgers. Go Badgers. That's all I'm going to say.
When it came up today, because you texted me, like, I don't know if it was right away when you
I think I did it right away, actually. Yeah.
And I mean, I had heard of Fickell, and I was, but he's being in Cincinnati, I mistakenly considered that a small market. Just as I
think it is.
Well, okay, good.
College football wise, yeah.
College football wise, I'm like, who is this? Like, but, and so my initial reaction was like, I don't like that at all. But I was like, well, let me look it up, and I'm like, it hit me like knowing that how much I don't know about college football, like outside of the Big Ten.
Yeah.
The fact that I'd even heard Fickell's name before should have made me go, no, you know his name. That's enough to make you go, well, he can't be a terrible coach if I've heard his name. Right. So that was one thing that kind of, okay, then I'll look it up. And he just turned that program around in Cincy, where it was like they were just a
team. He recruited the guy who's going to win Defensive Player of the Year this year for the NFL, played in Cincinnati last year. So he recruits blue chip
really well. Yeah.
So hopefully that works. That doesn't mean it's going to. I've seen a lot of guys that have taken a program that no one's ever heard of, bring it to national prominence, and then go to the next place and suck. Rich Rodriguez comes to mind when he went to Michigan. The guy that just got fired from Nebraska, he brought up UCF. I think it was like the University of Central Florida. He brought them up to national prominence, went to Nebraska, and I think he couldn't even win 18 games in like 5 years. Like,
Yeah.
so like so it doesn't mean it's gonna work out, but gosh, I hope it does. And what I like about this is it actually might put us on competitive, like even competitive. Like when Wisconsin goes in and plays Ohio State, you're just hoping they play it close and maybe they can pull up an upset. But what I want in the next couple of years is, yeah, we can definitely hang with you boys. And here we come. That's what I want. So I'm excited about that because maybe we can actually get into the playoffs. The Wisconsin Badgers can get into the college football playoff and play with the big boys. That's what I want. So I'm happy with this, and we'll see where it goes.
Okay, so back to the Chapek thing.
Yes.
He was not CEO when Endgame was released.
When was he CEO?
February of 2020 is when he got
20. I cannot give him
so
a
he
hard
got
time.
the good job.
I cannot give him a hard time for 2020.
So here I've got the list of films that Disney produced and released starting in February of 2020. Now
take off 2020. Nobody did good during the pandemic, man. That's unfair.
All right, sure. So we'll go for 2021.
Yes.
The Last Warrior, Root of Evil. Never heard of it.
Never heard of it either.
Nomadland, Flora and Ulysses, Raya and the Last Dragon. Not bad. Not a commercial success.
Oh, Raya was fantastic, but yes, you're right.
Not a commercial success. Cruella. Okay.
Whatever.
Luca, disappointment, underperformed.
Okay.
See, these are the movies. Like there are movies in here that I've never even heard of. That
but
I'm not even
Luca didn't even go to the movie theater. It went straight to Disney Plus.
It did. Black Widow actually underperformed.
I loved it. Go ahead.
But he is also the CEO that when Scarlett Johansson had her big blow up with Disney.
Yes.
That was under his
watch. That's
his watch.
Good. Yeah, that's a red flag. That's a bad thing.
Yep, he's the one who couldn't negotiate that well. Jungle Cruise.
Oh my God. That's your fault for getting The Rock.
Yep. Free Guy. I actually like Free Guy. But I think that's more of a Ryan Reynolds and his production company because it was co-produced with Maximum Effort Films. Do you know which film I'm talking about? You have
I know what you're talking about. I'm just wondering if you're starting to be a little nitpicky now.
Well, it's not me. I'm not.
Well, no. I think it is you there. You were like, well, he had Free Guy, but we're not going to give that to him. That was obviously Ryan Reynolds. You don't know that.
Okay. I'll just name the films that were failures.
Name the films. No, name all the films. Okay. We're not naming the films that were failures.
The Night House.
What the hell is that?
I don't know. Vacation Friends.
Yeah.
It was a Hulu, straight to Hulu one. Kind of a raunchy comedy.
It was?
Yep. The guy that whose name I know that was in it was John Cena. Shang-Chi.
I love Shang-Chi.
10 Rings. Eyes of Tammy Faye.
Was that good or not? I didn't see it.
Me neither.
Okay.
My Exabo, Spanish film. The Intruder. Tato. The Last Duel, which was a failure at the box office, I know.
Was that a good movie, Greg? Did you watch that?
I did watch it. I watched it on HBO Max.
Good?
I don't know if I would use the word good to describe it.
Okay.
Intriguing. It was intriguing.
Intriguing. Okay.
Yep. Great performances all around. The perspective of, it's a true story. You can go.
Yes, I know what it's about. And I wanted to, Ursula and I saw like the first 5 minutes, wanted to continue it, but we couldn't with Gwen around. Right. And by the time we had time, we forgot about it.
Yeah, it's visually, I found it a stunning film given the time period that I'm interested in, that medieval time period, and that was done well. The story is horrifying and on lots of different levels. Ron's Gone Wrong.
Yeah, that sucked.
Okay.
My daughter was like, Dad, can we watch something else? It's a cartoon. She loves anything cartoons.
The French Dispatch.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Tomorrow we will and Tomorrow We Will Be Dead.
My God, that's a title.
Yep. I
Okay.
think that's Switzerland only. Okay, not the movie I thought it was. Antlers, it's a horror film.
Horrible movie.
Yep. Eternals,
Eh.
Home Sweet Home Alone. Just short of perfect. Brazilian distribution only. Encanto, like Encanto.
Hey, can you
Yeah.
can you actually you're making your point now. Can you come up with his most successful movie during his tenure?
Oh gosh.
And that'll let us know.
Yeah, I could probably do a search.
Meanwhile, ladies and gentlemen, anybody out there
2021, 2022. Yeah. We got any comments out here? Like
Yeah,
vacation rentals.
anybody out there with your comments, are you going to go see Avatar? Or are you just gonna wait the 45 days till it's on Disney Plus?
I had this
What are you
question
gonna do?
posed to me today if I was going to do a screening.
Yeah. And
I'm not doing a screening for it.
yeah,
I mean,
I don't care about it. I watch it and I'm looking at like even the previews, and I don't know if he's literally 10 years away, like 10 years too late to where it's pretty much out of our consciousness.
Yeah, I think so.
Or has he turned me off to bashing Marvel because it's annihilating all of his previous box office movies? Like when he sits there and says that it doesn't have character development, I don't really know if Aliens did.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so the stuff that he's and I guess if you could nitpick, you could say, well, when Sigourney Weaver learned to become a mother, or I don't know.
Yeah,
so when he started doing that, it put a bad taste in my mouth with that guy.
I'm torn. So a couple different things. One, I've never consciously gone to a James Cameron film because I was just so interested in the story.
Correct.
You go to a James Cameron film for the visuals, right?
Correct. Yes.
Which he does really well.
Yes.
I saw the first Avatar film on a ultra screen 3D.
Yes.
And it was because remember when 3D films became like a thing for about 2 years, or 2 to 5 years.
Yes.
It was the only one of those that I saw that I can say did it well.
Okay.
Like some of the 3D films, it was like, oh, they had a couple 3D-ish moments, and they were it was so gimmicky. Where James Cameron said, okay, no, we're going to make a 3D film, but we're going to do it with each shot is planned in 3D. So like all those computer screens that you see in the first Avatar film, even when the humans wear their masks, like that has like a pop effect to it. All the foliage and the plant life and stuff like that, there's a 3D element, and you're like, this is immersive. This is done well.
Right.
And I've never seen that since.
Okay.
Now with this film, I'm so not interested in the story. I am interested in the visuals. Like, do I go to a 3D screen and actually pay big theater prices? Because my mom and pop theater is not super expensive on tickets. I looked up what the ticket price, like what's it going to take my family just to get in the door to see Avatar the way I believe Cameron would want us to watch it, he intends audiences to watch it. 3D big screen. I don't think we're going to do that.
And I'm just curious about people. If you're not going to see it, why? Is it because you're not interested? B, you don't like James Cameron after the comments he's made about Marvel? When the problem with the comments is he came across as get off my lawn.
A little bit. Well, and a lot of the old filmmakers, I mean, Martin Scorsese was talking shit about Marvel.
Yeah. But I just, and I don't know. I saw the trailer and I thought, you're really going to stretch something like this out for another 4 movies?
Yeah.
I can already pretty much tell you what I think the plot is just by the trailers.
And I wonder, is this another JPEG failure? Because Disney bought Avatar. They own the Avatar franchise.
Okay. Well, then maybe he needed the backing because no one was going to put that much money into Avatar again. Like, I don't know. Again, there's nothing that wants me. I can't wait to see it. Like, I can't.
Yeah.
That's not in me. And
now I
to
know,
be honest, I don't care if I ever see it again. I don't care if I ever see it.
I know people that, I mean, when I took my poll with my theater group of like, hey guys, would you be interested in me hosting a screening for Avatar? Literally 99% came back as a no thanks, just not really interested. It's been too long. The first one wasn't that great. But that 1% were super excited for it. They're like, oh no, definitely, I want to see that.
Okay.
Like, okay. But in the theater that I rent or that we go to, it doesn't have a 3D capability.
Okay.
So I'm like, if you're really that big into Avatar, where you're like super excited to see it,
you're bringing it back in 3D?
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's big old 3D. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's when I checked out, pricing out for my fam to go see it, and 5 tickets and a full 3D. I mean, it was almost $30 a ticket, and I'm like, no, sorry.
Yeah, the first one was good, but I've never watched it again.
I own it. Like,
you own it?
I do. I own it on Blu-ray.
I'm sure there was a time I did.
And it was,
I never watched it again.
Honestly, maybe it was a gift. I don't remember buying it. Or maybe I got it in a sale bin somewhere.
I just don't think James Cameron understands that Avatar hasn't gripped anybody like Marvel, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings. Like, I don't think it's. I think for some people it sure has. I'm sure it has a fan base. I've never seen anybody at a comic book convention walking around as what are those things even called?
The Na'vi.
The Na'vi. Never seen a Na'vi cosplayer.
I did,
you did?
Once upon a time. Yeah, when the movie came out,
when the movie came out
15 years ago, but not. I mean, it's not a persistent thing. Like, I think the next year, no one was dressing up as those folks.
Yeah.
Now here's the thing. Am I gonna go see it in the big ultra 3D? No. I don't believe we're gonna pull the trigger on that one, especially in a Christmas season where you're like, do I buy Christmas gifts for people or do I take the family to a movie? I mean, that's just not.
There's our poll for the day, folks. Should Greg see Avatar and let us all know how it is, or should he get gifts for his family?
Yeah. That being said, I mean, we probably will go see it at our mom and pop theater.
Okay.
And have a nice family day out. But I mean, that's the same thing. Like, whatever shitty movie came out in the beginning of this year. I mean, pick any kind of not great movie. You can find them. All the movies I've seen this year are on our Letterboxd account, which I can link down below. So literally every movie I've watched this year in the theater is in there, and they're not all great, but we went and saw them on a family outing because why the hell not when you're paying $3 a ticket? So, yeah, that's the that's the gist. Am I going to pay $30 a ticket for it? Absolutely not. Will I pay $3? Yeah, I will. So I'm going to see it. I mean, I'm not excited to see it. No, but I'm a cinephile. I'm going to go see it.
Would you say that Chapek's biggest success is Disney Plus?
Because
I would say first off, I would say Disney Plus is a success.
It is, but I don't think he gets to lay claim to it because he wasn't the mastermind behind it. That was still under Iger's rule. He was there for the implementation. He was there for the launch. He was there for the launch. He was there for the implementation, but it wasn't his baby. So are you
sure about that?
According to what I'm looking at here, yes.
Okay. The reason I just asked that, Greg, is because he didn't just show up 2020. He's been in the building.
He has been in. He was the head of parks. He was the head of parks for domestic and international, where he found some success. But then, as soon as he got the keys to the kingdom, it's like I
The
don't
magic
know.
went away. It's
Well,
like you said last
not even
last
just
week.
not just the magic, but it was almost, I'm trying to compare him to somebody who you thought was a good guy. And then as soon as they came into power, they flipped. I mean, it's like Lex Luthor was just hiding in the corner, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, Lex, you now have the power. And he's like, and now he's this evil character who just like destroyed Disney. And he
Yeah, I know what you're
agree
saying.
agree to disagree. What are you doing?
No. I was actually just thinking of a character. That's all. Like I was
Yeah.
thinking of a character you could. And my first thought was Palpatine, but everybody knew Palpatine was bad except
Well, except for
the
the
Senate. Yeah.
yeah. I mean those, but that's actually a pretty good
Yeah.
thing, because it's like, yeah, everybody liked him, they thought he was good, but then all of a sudden
They realized.
yeah. So like my family and I, we went and saw Morbius in the theater. Like we made a day out of that.
Okay.
And was it a great movie? No, but saw it for $3. Sure. Yeah. No problem.
Well, I think that's something there too. When you walk away and you've realized you've only spent like I was just explaining to you before we went live that I bought I think $10 lightsabers for me and my daughter to run around the house and smack each other with. And if she breaks it by hitting mine too hard or something like that, there will be a 5 seconds of shit. But then I'll get over it because I run out and get a new one. So
my family, we did a Christmas Day a couple of years ago. We did a Christmas Day movie, like, because that was, the kids were like, I'm like, what do you guys want to do? They're like, we really want to do like a family day on Christmas. Like, we'll all go see a movie and let's do it right. I'm like, well, do you want to, like, other than we did Christmas at my in-laws, and then after that, rather than Christmas dinner, we did like a Cinedine kind of thing where it's, you go watch a movie, you order your food, they bring it out to you, but as the previews are going, it was a big deal. And that we paid a lot of money for. Like, I'm not gonna lie, whatever you think the concession prices are for like candy, imagine if it's like a burger and fries. So it's a pricey burger and fries plus the tickets and we saw the second Jumanji film.
Right. Okay.
The is it Back to the Jungle or something like that?
Sure.
The one where Danny DeVito and Danny Glover
get,
and it's a terrible film.
It's like a horrendous film. Yes, I agree.
God awful movie.
Yep. Thank you, Dwayne.
So that's one of those, like, we got all jacked up to see it as a family. We enjoyed the first film. I think at the end of that excursion with, and I went all out. What do you want to get, kids? Well, they want, of course they got their dinner, and then of course they wanted their candy. And sure, yep, no problem. Doing this at Marcus Theaters prices. I think I was $250 in at the end.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
And we walked out of there going, what the fuck did we just see? It was terrible.
Yeah.
And it just was kind of a letdown then.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do that with Avatar, like where we go and we get jacked up to see it, and then special effects extravaganza, and then the story is just lame as hell. And then you've dropped, it's not gonna be 250, but you've dropped
a nice,
it's gonna be over $100 for sure. Yeah, because it's over $100 just for the tickets.
Yeah.
And then you go, that was disappointing. No one wants to do that.
Yeah, I would agree for sure. Yeah. So anyway, anybody report on the comments? Yeah. Anybody going to go see Avatar?
No one's chatting right now. But, well, actually, the people that were like, no, I can say.
Yeah. See that, and that's what I think. And I don't know if anybody's in Cameron's head, like going, excuse me, Cam.
You wonder if he is. You wonder if he's like now looking at it going, is this just contractual obligation? Okay, now they gave me the money to make a movie. So
he said he plans on 4 more after this.
I don't see that happening. Like, I just don't.
No way. Like, I'm not that into that planet.
No. And I don't, like, even when the first one came out, if they would have said, hey, we got 5 more coming out for you.
Yeah.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
You're like,
you can't,
or,
right?
Or it'd be almost like there'd be like one guy sitting there going, "Why?
Yeah. I mean,
Like,
this
why would you do that?"
it's going to turn into Fast and the Furious with blue people.
Oh yeah,
And they
Jesus
probably,
Christ.
and as my son said a couple days ago, yeah, number 5 is just going to be the blue people in space. Like that's just
Yeah,
what it's going to be.
yeah,
Like they've developed their own society. They're at war with Earth, and it's going to
yeah.
be a
Or
Star
they're
Wars.
here to take us on now.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know.
All
I
right.
did.
Yeah.
Okay. One thing I did like, because I brought up my Netflix, I'm like, what have I been watching lately? I tried watching the RIPD 2.
Yeah. Anything?
No, God, no.
It was bad.
It's so bad.
I wouldn't
Like
even try it. I didn't want to try it.
it was, we had nothing to watch. I'm like, let's see. It is on level with like the old Hercules and Xena, like camera
Ooh.
style. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. And the humor is about at that level. It's bad. We did start Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities.
I'm in episode 2.
Okay. If you're a horror fan at all, check that out.
Okay.
Like that is really good. We've done 4 episodes.
Yeah.
3. You can bring it up and see. But
I love Del Toro, man. That guy's great.
he is.
If James Gunn knows what he's
nerd.
doing, he's gonna grab that guy to do Justice League Dark.
Oh, that would be interesting.
That would be so much fun.
Super interesting.
And make sure you put Wonder Woman in it.
Well, and I fell in love with Del Toro when he was doing Hellboy. And
yeah, absolutely.
And then I went back and found his other films. And yeah, they're just good. I mean,
yeah.
And you've got to be into that style film. They're definitely not for everybody. Like, if you don't just like, I don't think I've watched Pan's Labyrinth since my initial viewing of it.
Right.
Because it's a heavy film. I mean, outside all the horror elements stuff, it's just a heavy film.
It is heavy. Yep.
So
yeah. Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah, that's kind of my week. You gotta, I mean, and we're actually in full Christmas season now. So
yes, we are in full Christmas season too. It's funny with a 4-year-old because she thinks it's every day. She's like, "It's Christmas today?" I'm like, nope. So I'm gonna get that advent calendar this year, so she actually knows.
Do you do? We can spend our last 10 minutes on this. Do you do the Elf on a Shelf?
No, we've talked about this. No.
Did we talk about this last year?
I don't know if we talked about it last year, and I don't even know if we've talked about it on the podcast, but I know you and I have talked about it.
I find it to be such bullshit.
I don't just subscribe to that. I mean, I can see where some people do, but I'm not telling my daughter there's an elf on the shelf that reports back to Santa. I report back to Santa. And I do it all year long. So
what I find interesting, like the cultural consciousness, even in full-grown adults, like people with children that didn't grow up with Elf on the Shelf,
which I didn't. Yeah.
Well, no, because we're adults and the thing didn't exist. It's based off of a children's book that came out in like the late 90s, I believe.
Okay.
And then, the book company then started to market the elf with it, and then it just grew into this
thing.
Thing. But there are people having children now that are like, well, this has always been a thing. It's right up there with Santa Claus and Saint Nick and Elf on the Shelf. I'm like, the Elf on the Shelf is like less than 20 years old. They don't believe me.
Yeah, look, I'm not gonna. If if you're out there and you're listening and you do Elf on a Shelf, that's great.
Shame
if
on
you're
you.
creating, no. If you're creating magic in your house for this holiday, I'm all for it. I think the world needs a little bit of magic now, and this is the time of year where stuff is magic. I just remember Christmas being magic, and there were a couple of times as I grew up that there was no magic in my house anymore, and that depressed me more than anything. The gifts were never a big deal to me. The magic of maybe just spending time with family and just having that Christmas feel was gone for like I would say a handful of times when I was coming out of, I guess you could say, my adolescence and I was in my early adulthood when life really got real for me during that time. So Yeah, like my stories with my mom and things like that.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
that had a lot to do with it because my mom did a great job making Christmas magical when I was a kid. You know, so to me, if an elf on a shelf makes Christmas feel magical to you or it gives you that Christmas feeling, cool. It's just not going to happen in the angel household. That's all. But no, we don't even have a stuffed animal. In fact, I've kind of I feel bad, but I kind of got into a little sparring match with Ursula because someone bought us a deer with a book, and it's basically the same thing as Elf on a Shelf,
Oh, okay.
but it's with a deer. And
Yeah.
Ursula was reading it to her, and she's like, I was like, no, it's the deer does nothing. It does nothing. And like, she's like, why are you ruining that for Gwen? I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, I go, because we're the people, right? I like took a stupid Captain America stance, and I'm looking back on it now, and I'm like, whatever. If this is something between Ursula and her, cool, whatever. I'm not going to ruin that,
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at. I don't know why that came up, but that's where I'm at. But anyway, yes, I
Okay.
don't do Elf on a Shelf, but I think we do some sort of stupid reindeer. We don't
Well,
move it or
right.
anything. In fact,
Well, and
that reindeer is like in her stuffed animal bag.
yeah. Well, and you do Santa's, which is,
Yes, we do Santa.
yeah.
We do Santa.
Yeah.
The problem, Ursula, this is where Ursula and I have a differ too, because she tends to like every gift is from Santa. And I'm like, no. I said, no. And she goes, what do you mean? I go, that's from your mom and your dad.
Yeah.
That's from my mom and my dad. That's from Uncle Greg. That's from this. That's from whoever's giving her a present. I'm like, that's from them. If you want to get something for Santa, you and I got to get like these little small things and put them underneath.
Yeah. Yep.
That's it. Like the big stuff, that's us.
Yeah.
Like,
and we've said this before. Like,
yes.
I grew up, Santa brought, I don't want to say the cheap gifts. I mean, that's not the right word to use, but the stuff that you're like, oh, like I remember one year it was a John Romita Senior Spider-Man, like hanging felt thing. And then it came with ping pong balls that had Velcro on.
Okay.
A little target. And you just,
yeah. That was a Santa gift.
That was that. It was something that if you were to buy it today, it would be like a Dollar General kind of fun. But it was fun. I mean, I remember we hung it on the doorknob, and then you threw. It was a thing. But that was like a Santa gift. Meanwhile, Jetfire, the Transformer, the white and black jet, that was from mom and dad. Like, that's the GI Joes, the Transformers, the Star Wars. So that all came from mom and dad.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I think you and I definitely agree about that, is that Santa gives the fun little things.
Yeah.
The big stuff's from the parents and from everybody that loves you.
And I've known people that do like the stocking, like they will put all that little stuff in a stocking.
Yes.
Along with like an orange or something.
Yes.
And like, oh, that's Santa gives you the stocking stuff. All the wrap stuff is from human
family.
People.
Okay, that's fine. For the people out there, what are your Christmas traditions that you've either have grown out of or that are still carrying on strong in your house? If you do Elf on a Shelf, tell us why. Let us know. The one thing I think we're going to end today with is something that Greg and I are definitely opposed to, and it's kind of a silly reason why I'm opposed to it. Greg, you are looking forward to I don't even know what kind of movie you call. I guess it would be a Christmas movie, but to me, there's certain things you don't do on Christmas, and you don't make Santa Claus an action hero on Christmas.
I'm so excited for this film.
I don't know why, but David Arbor is in Harbor or Arbor?
I think it's Arbor, the H.
Arbor. Okay. David Arbor, who Greg, I think, has secretly a big time crush on.
Absolutely.
I like him and I'm a crush on him, but there's this movie where is he Santa or is he a guy that plays Santa?
He is the Santa Claus.
Okay.
Like,
and it seems to me that he's doing his duty on Christmas Eve, and he comes to a house that is either being the family's held hostage or something.
Correct.
And he's basically John McClane in that house.
Yes, it is. It is the Santa Claus meets Die Hard.
Okay. I've seen a small snippet of it, and I don't like it at all.
My entire family is jazzed to see
Oh,
it.
I'm sure they are. I'm sure
comes
they are.
out next weekend.
Because there's Strulies. There's Strulies.
Yeah.
I believe you don't, and I have no justification as to why I believe this. It just rubs me the wrong way.
I think
like, don't have Santa as an action hero.
Yeah,
that's how
I think
feel.
it's Silent Night, Deadly Night. You don't make Santa a murderer. I mean,
Right.
that's you when you're talking about the magic and like the childlike wonder that comes with Santa. I get all that. I mean, if I were to see that, like, rewind back to even middle school Greg, who knew the whole Santa, mythos and everything else. If I would have saw like an action movie, kind of like, oh, I don't know about like that, but like adult Greg, yeah, I'm kind of all about it. So
yeah, it seems cheesy, and I know he's a great actor.
Yeah.
And the part I saw seemed extremely cheesy. And again, this could be the point of the movie. Like that one werewolf movie you and I talked about the whole time, where we're like, is this serious or is this cheesy?
Yeah.
What's going on here?
Is this a comedy? Is this what are we supposed to do?
Are they overreacting, or are they overacting this? Are they doing it on purpose, or are they just bad?
Yeah.
So
it's from the same people that made Nobody.
Oh, damn. So that's a good one.
So I'm and I've talked about my love for that movie. But I think it's just gonna be fun. And maybe I've seen the best parts in the preview.
Okay.
I mean,
maybe. I don't know. It could be fantastic. I have a negative feeling towards it right off the bat.
Just because it's Santa.
Yeah. And if I see him pick up like an M16 and he starts kung fuing people, I'm gonna be like,
it seems very much like a brawler.
Okay. I would imagine he would be, yeah.
And the one creative kill that I saw that they showed in the previews, like he's wrestling around with it. Yeah, so it was the candy cane.
I knew a candy cane.
He takes a candy cane and goes, and like it comes to a point at the end, and then he's like right into it. I don't know, into his ear and his temple, whatever. And I'm just laughing. It's going to be a ridiculously fun time.
Okay. What's that called again? Actually,
Deadly Night, I think.
Okay. Yeah, that's another thing. You call it Deadly Night. I'm not into it.
Something like, I think it's Deadly Night. I don't care. I'm totally in. And
it's like Flynn.
Violent Night. That's
it's a Violent Night. That's right. Yeah. So, all right, folks. The Christmas season's upon us. So if you guys are if you guys survive Black Friday and you still got shopping to do, have fun. Be nice out there. Okay.
Tis the season.
Yeah, tis the season. Put a little magic in someone else.
Yeah.
That came out wrong.
But if you get the opportunity, take it.
Yeah. So, Greg, sign us out, sir.
I did. Tis the season to not be a douche. That's what we're gonna go for.
That'll work. So for the Greg, this is Johnny saying, happy holidays, guys. Thanks for watching. See you next week. Take care.